and welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is a Senior Citizens Forum and sponsored by Benefits for You 2 Insurance Services, where we do health insurance for people that are under the age of 65, or we have senior insurance products that we provide in the health insurance area. But today I'm not here to talk about that. I have my friend here, Cindy Hanson. Cindy Hanson is an international realtor, and we're going to be talking about, seniors moving, and also that if you know anybody else that moving, this is the expert right here.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, Janice.
Right. She is really good. That's why she's an international realtor. But first I want to talk about her passion, which is music. And I know she's a pianist. And she does classical music. And I know she's gone to USC. She's been to Juilliard School of Music. And she's very talented.
Oh,
and that's really great.
yes.
If I know, I have a cousin who has a master's also in music, but from the University of Alabama. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she has that master's, but she's very accomplished, and I know she works with different groups also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm very blessed. Well, thank you, Janice, for having me on the show. And yes, music is my passion. It's a universal language, and I came here for the education. Fumble into real estate. It's my 16th year in real estate professionally, and then prior to that, I do investments. Because my background, my nationality, and where we are, I have the privilege to assist a lot of international families. Either they immigrate here, or buying investments, or just because the company expanding to a different part of the world. So I had the privilege to help a lot of people like that. And lately I also have a lot of experience and opportunity to help seniors. That's how we get connected.
Right.
And seniors is a different service, and I find passion for them because I put myself in their position. Lately I was helping a senior. Her name is Ruth, and she is 85 years old, but she's like a kid. She's so cute. But her husband passed away about a year and a half ago. And so she thinks the house is too big for her. No families around in Orange County. So she decided she's going to sell it and move closer to her daughter in San Francisco.
Okay. Well, she stayed within the state.
She stayed with the state.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I am a senior, okay, so
You don't look like a senior. You're like
I've
in your
lived in the
50s.
same house for 30 years.
Good for you. Good
Okay.
For you.
So I want to pick up and I want to move. Okay. And I know people are moving in and out of California.
Yes.
Because we
Yes.
are in California. Okay. What should I be looking at in selling my home that I have right now? And what should I be looking at? This is a two-part question.
Yeah, okay.
When I want to go buy, or what should I be considering? Because I go into a lot of communities where people have sold their homes,
Right.
and they move into an apartment. Okay, a senior community that are apartments, and then they start complaining about how much the rent is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what should you be looking at when you make this huge move?
Gotcha. Moving is a lot of work. Just so much. And people, if they don't have to move, they won't move. So the first question I usually ask the seniors or anybody who's planning to move out is, why? Why are you moving? Is that because you're getting married, you're getting a divorce, you're downsizing, or you need to expand because of family growing? And today the topic is about senior. Senior, usually I help a lot of widows. Women tend to live a little longer, but the house usually taken care of by the man. So when the husband passed away or the other half passed away, it becomes too big and they get lonely. They often want to move closer to where they have friends or family. So in this case that I just helped, wonderful Ruth, she was originally from Switzerland.
Okay.
She came here when she was younger, and she got a job. She met her husband from India. They got married. They moved around with his job, and they finally stayed in Irvine for the past 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but unfortunately, he passed away about a year and a half ago. So she said, I cannot take care of this house anymore. Too big.
Oh, absolutely.
And then she's getting weaker, even though she's very active. It's like cleaning, taking care of the house becomes too big. So that was her pain point. And then she misses her children. So she wants to be closer to her daughter. And the closest one in San Francisco. Otherwise, her son is in Switzerland. She could have.
Yeah.
She could have, but she chose to be closer to the daughter. So we got together with her, declutter, get a home ready, and then she starts slowly packing. I got a handyman, painter, and people to help her to get the home ready. And she actually has a very smooth transaction. We got a home on the market. Soon afterward, we got multiple offers, and she just literally just moved out to San Francisco 2 weeks ago.
But if somebody's looking for a realtor to help them, okay? Okay? All right, this is what I'm going towards. You know, what should they be looking at? Okay? Okay, I've lived in my house 30 years, so what should I be looking at if I'm going to sell my home?
In terms of finding the right realtor for her?
And finding the right realtor, okay? What questions should I be asking a realtor?
Perfect. Great question. So there's so many realtors out there, and you can easily get your license to be a realtor. The most important thing is to ask the realtor that how long have they been in business. That's one thing, because it really does come through the experience and how many transactions this person had done in the past. Most importantly, have they helped seniors in the past? And sometimes you can see from their demeanor, are they in there to help you, or are they in there to make money out of you? So it's important to get to know this person. Don't be in a hurry to hire somebody right away, or thinking I know this person but you don't know the career background. So it's really important to take the time to get to know this person, and then maybe have a few things to work on it and see if this person's keeping their words.
Right, because I know if you're picking up and moving and you sell your home, and then there's contingencies with your buyer.
Yes.
So how do I work those contingencies? Because I know there's a lot of different scenarios.
Yes,
okay?
Exactly.
So I'm going to try to do a couple scenarios.
Okay. All right.
So I'm picking up and I'm moving, and I have nowhere to move to. I know I want to move to a specific location. We used San Francisco a second ago, so let's just go with San Francisco. But I don't have any property. I mean, I don't have anything in mind that I want to go to at the point in time. I'm selling my home.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm dealing with my buyer, again, different scenarios. Okay?
Exactly.
All right. My buyer wants to be in here in 60 days, and I want 120 days.
Gotcha. So, great question. So, similar to Ruth's situation, and we usually plan out ahead of time before we even put a home on the market. Because once your home is on the market, well, you have no control whether the buyer coming in tomorrow or next week. And they also have their situation. So, it's important to have those options open. So, I also plan the strategy with Ruth. I told her first thing, I will not let you become homeless.
Okay.
So that's my guarantee. Everything can be negotiated. So depends on the market at the time. We usually do two things at the same time. Get her home ready, and she is shopping homes in San Francisco at that time. And her daughter was helping her at the same time to find a beautiful home that she actually said, I love my new home. I'm looking at the view with the bridge and the ocean. So I'm very happy for her. So coordinating with our escrow and her seller's escrow is also very important.
Okay.
So I usually have a conversation with them, and then position my client Ruth's home when we put house on the market, it's important for me to negotiate the terms for Ruth. So I already know, she says, I'm older, I cannot move things so fast. So I negotiated for her the amount of the escort time, the rent back, and actually was able to get her free rent coming back. So she has enough cushion. I asked her, how long would it take you to get everything ready?
Ready.
And then I padded another 2 more weeks for her.
Good for you. Good for you.
I just putting myself
Good
in
for
her
Ruth.
shoes.
Ruth had the right.
So understand my client's need, which is Ruth and the seller, that what's important for you.
Right.
How long do you think you need a time for? And I would usually add in a little padding.
Right.
So when I position her house that everybody wants, you know what? When I position her home to the amazing situation everybody wants, what happened? Buyer will agree with your terms.
Okay.
So Ruth not only got multiple offers, the buyer is accommodating her. Said, take your time.
Great.
And the other thing is this buyer actually moving from overseas. They were not in a hurry to moving anyway. So we picked the best buyer. It worked out great. But again, when you don't know what's happening, then you need to have different strategies to be ready.
So I use the word contingencies.
Contingencies, yes.
So what does that mean for our audience?
So contingency basically means that, hey, I am willing to buy this, but I do have a condition. And only if my condition meet, then I'm going to say I'm 100% going to buy this home or sell this home.
Right.
In this case, because we do have contingency from seller buying a home, so this time the seller already was able to find a home. I negotiated with the seller's, my seller's seller, and we have that timeline all lined up.
Okay.
There's a scenario that a few years ago, it was 3 contingencies. We have 3 homes. My client was the very last one, was moving from Taiwan, and everybody's contingent on selling their home, and that because of very, very early on foreign national transaction, nobody know what's going on. It took us 3 months to close. Everybody was freaking out, but we made it. We pulled it through.
You were I know it's very tricky with the contingencies.
Yes.
And I know sometimes there's money involved.
Oh yes, this is also very important. So when you have a contingency, make sure. So it's always the best to plan everything out before you even open escrow, before you even put a home on the market.
Now I want to move into California.
Okay.
All right. And I'm coming from Idaho.
All right.
Okay.
Good choice.
All right. Good choice. But the properties, the value in properties are completely different.
Exactly.
Okay? And we know here in California, a basic house can be $1 million.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay? And I'm coming from a $500,000 house.
It's a luxury
and
home
now
over
I'm
there.
looking at
Yeah.
$1 million home.
Exactly.
Plus.
Sure, easily here.
Easily in California.
So,
Definitely.
yeah.
So what am I looking at with that big difference in property value?
Well, this is the fact. This is just the fact. We can't change anything about it. It's understanding the market and understanding that 500 in Idaho must be a big home. It must be a mansion over there.
Yes.
But 500 in California, especially Northern California, even worse, probably 1 bedroom. But Southern California, 1.5, maybe 2. So yes, it's just a mentality you have. And why are you moving from Idaho to California? Can you do the adjustments? There's always adjustment, even though you move from one city to another in the same state.
So I'm a senior, okay? And I'm moving from Idaho because my children are working in California.
Yes.
I'm giving you a scenario, okay?
Perfect.
Okay. I don't have to really buy a single family home. I could be looking at other types.
Totally. So, for example, Ruth, she actually sell her big house to a 2-bedroom condo.
Right.
She doesn't need to climb stairs anymore. She doesn't have to worry about cleaning the big house. So she actually made money from selling her house and moving to another one. But again, the important thing for a lot of seniors, I would assume, is the value. What do you get from the value? Not just the home, but the relationship, the family time you're going to get out of it. Because how much more time or how often can you see your family, your children, your grandkids? And that is the decision you're making, and plus getting out of the cold.
Yeah, because I know I go into senior communities.
Yes.
Sometimes I see people, they have sold their big homes
Right.
and they move into an apartment.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they're not spacious.
No. That's just an adjustment you have to have.
Right.
And when I used to volunteer for church back then, that I do deliver sermon and CDs that they taped from the service to deliver it to the senior facilities that people physically cannot move, or they don't want to, they can't, or they are not feeling comfortable, but they are living in the community that they associate with a bunch of people like-minded. That would be another choice as well.
Right. So I mean, there's another choice, and then rent in Southern California area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at it, me personally, going, well,
Why?
I couldn't do that
No.
because the rent's so expensive.
Yes, it's actually.
It's just-
sorry for
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
It's the same thing, that if you're renting a place versus owning one, unless you don't have the down payment, it's always a wise idea to own your own place, because 2 reasons. Your mortgage is actually cheaper than your rent. That's first. Second, no one can kick you out. You have your own choice whenever you want to move, however long you want to stay. So renting, yeah, you may not need to take care of the maintenance issue, but they're so minor. But again, I'm often, when I hear from renters, I say, you pay how much? First. Second, oh, my landlord wants to sell his house. We are forced to move. So these two are things that you don't have any control, and why spend money when you can own something?
Right. So if you have property and you're coming in to put money down, and you have money to buy something else
Yeah.
versus renting, and the way I look at it is I would rather buy something because
Same.
even though I'm still building some form of equity
Yes.
in that property.
Absolutely.
Okay. Versus what Cindy was talking about a few seconds ago, the landlord can say, I'm either raising the rent $500. I hear this all the time. Even though if you have a mortgage,
Yes.
at least that mortgage is going to stay the same.
It's so smart. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. I go into a lot of senior communities and I see what they're going, and I hear them complain. They're raising our rent, they're doing this. So there's something that you need to look for. And if you're looking for, as a senior, to leave your family some money to inherit, what better than a piece of property?
Oh, that they would love you even more. They were welcome to cook for you every day.
No, I had an aunt that lived in the same house for 30 years in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
And she moved to Alabama.
Okay.
And her house was 100% paid for. And I said, why are you talking about renting something?
Right.
It makes no sense.
No sense at all.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So when she finally got to Alabama, she said, Janice, you're right.
Right.
This makes no sense. And
Right.
money was not an issue. But she sold her house.
Yeah, San Fernando Valley, she definitely made
And
a
she
lot
got
of money,
all
right?
that money. And she had money left over when she bought something in Alabama. And she paid cash for it.
It's my God, that's the best scenario. And then some client of mine would do this. They would, if they want to.
Right.
And then if they still have the energy, when you sell the home, let's say you sell a home here, you move to Alabama, like you just mentioned, that you can buy 2. One for yourself to live in for free. you have rental income coming
Right.
in. Why
Yeah,
not?
You can do that too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to take a little break right
Okay.
there, right now,
Sounds
and
good.
we're going to
Come back.
hear from a little commercial.
Nice.
And I'll be back with Cindy, and we're going to talk more about real estate.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
thank
let's
you.
take a quick break.
Welcome back to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. This is the Senior Citizens Forum, and we just heard a little bit from some of our sponsors.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you,
but
sponsors.
I'm back with Cindy, and we're going to continue talking about our subject, selling properties. So now we're going to look at, what if you get a phone call and somebody says to you, "Hey, Mrs. Wood, I have a buyer for your home."
Wow.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them I'm not interested because I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
But you may be interested, and maybe they hit you at the right time.
Exactly.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're ready to sell that house, and it's opportune time.
Yes.
So I get a phone call like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there questions I should be asking them
Yes.
as the seller to them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I will always ask, are you a realtor or are you an investor? And if they say, "Oh, I'm a realtor, I have a buyer want to buy your home," I say, "Great, tell me about your buyer."
Okay.
Let them share with you who this person is legit or not. Second, it's best you have your realtor friend representing you because they would know great question to ask. And when we screening buyers, we have specific items that will go through each one of them. So, but they have not seen your home. How do they know their buyer would like your home? That's another question. So when you ask them about tell me more about your buyer, let them share with you, are they real or not? So that's the first thing I'll ask.
Yes, I want to know if they're real because you want to find out if you're selling to an investor.
Sure. So, yes, if they're an investor, they're typically looking for bargains. That's the investor's word.
So I have a couple scenarios
Okay.
from my neighborhood.
Okay.
One of the houses, this is about 2 years ago,
Okay.
one of the houses in my neighborhood, an investor went in and bought the property for like $650,000. They went in and they did all kinds of remodeling, knocking down walls, making it look more the open floor plans that are out there now. Okay, and then put it on and sold it for 1.2.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Good for the investor.
Right.
Great for the investor. I wonder why the seller was not doing anything themselves. Are they too tired, too old, or what was the?
It was just an easy way out. But would you say to that seller, if you fixed up this, and that,
Absolutely.
would you be able to have gotten
Yes.
more money for that house if it wasn't?
Right. So great question, and I'm sure this happens everywhere, anywhere. So, but sometimes I think a year and a half ago, I got this call from a sphere, and they said my friend, it was a parent, older, they have a home in Chino Hills. They own it for 30 years, but they have not taken care of it. They want to sell it. So when I visit the home, it's like, ooh, there's a lot of updating. Where the trend has changed 3 times already.
Right.
They're still in the original condition. But unfortunately, they don't have the budget to do a lot of fix up. So that would be the only time I would say yes. You sell it to an investor. You get the money and walk away. I mean, they bought it 30 years ago. They're making money no matter what. Just depends on how much they're making. But if they do have the money, I will highly recommend them to do certain things to fix it up to make it sellable and more up to date. And you may only need to spend a few $1,000s, and maybe it depends on your condition. That home was really bad. That they probably have to spend more than 30 to 50 grand to do a basic fix up. But they did not have the money. So unfortunately, that they couldn't fix up to the way they want to and make the maximum profit they would like to.
Yeah.
So, but if you do have the money and you have a realtor or you have a handyman, contractor, that they know what they're doing and helping you to get things done correctly,
Yeah.
you can definitely.
So if you have a piece of property that's worth, not fixed up, let's say $850,000,
Okay.
and you go in and you spend, if you have the money, like you said, and you spend $20,000, is that going to bring me up higher in the value?
It will definitely bring you up to date, for sure. So let's say you lived in a house for how long? 15, 20, 30 years?
30 years.
If you
right?
have not done anything, buyers are expecting your home to be updated. The countertop, the floor, the wood cabinets, and anything that's outdated, the carpet, it needs to be out because buyer have expectation. And those doesn't cost you a whole lot. If you are willing to spend the money and take the time to do so, when they come in here, they expect to see this home is up to date. Then they're willing to pay the price.
Right.
If you don't have that budget or time or energy to do so, you're expecting people going to discount your home.
Okay. Yeah, and if you do upgrade your home and doing that, make sure you use a reputable contractor.
Yes.
Because I think that's really important, because you can get a contractor and the work is just not
good. Not only
good.
if they're not good, I have another story actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is reminding me of another story that I had. I was selling this beautiful home by the beach. Nice, like not even a block away from the beach. And then I think the previous seller, they have different contractor in. That was before our time. We didn't know. So I don't know if they're licensed, but the work is not really good. But because you don't know, that's not what we do. We don't know they're doing the right job or not. So finding a reputable contractor, somebody that you trust and use them, had a great job, were very responsive, and do the good work. That's very, very, very important.
Yeah, because I know I have another neighbor who had an investor come in and buy their piece of property. Okay. They went in, they fixed it up. Okay. They sold the house. I think they originally bought it for like $700,000.
Okay.
They sold the house and they got over 1.3 for the house.
Good for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the paint started peeling off. Okay. The cabinets were coming off the walls. So from what I understand, I don't know exactly what they did. They went back and said, I want this fixed.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of a boundary line, but again, you have don't cheap out on things. I would totally recommend you don't cheap out on things, because you will take more time and energy to deal with it later on, and make sure you do everything's permitted. Don't think about, I'm gonna save money, I don't want to deal with the city. Guess what? You will have to deal with them when you sell the home, because unless you have a cash buyer, they don't care, they happen to like the work and okay with it. But if they are getting a loan, their lender will not pass that part. They need to make sure it's either up to code, up to date, and if you're not, you have to contact the city.
Well, this brings me to a question I just popped in my mind. Okay. So if I sold a piece of property, it's been a long time since I sold a piece of property, but I remember I had somebody come in and do an inspection.
Yes.
Do they not find?
Oh, it's a different kind of inspection though. Good question.
Okay.
So the buyer has the right to do the home inspection. And sometimes, we live in a house for so long, we don't even know what's going on. So the buyer do have the right to come in to do their home inspection, checking, the appliances, the duct, the AC, the heater, everything. That is one kind of inspection.
Okay.
So if you live on the hills, and they may have to do the land, the soil inspection. There's so many different inspections they will come in. Is that the type of inspection that you're referring to?
Actually, you took it into other inspections, and I'm just thinking that's right. You have to have other, depending upon where you live. No, I live on a flood control channel.
All right, fine.
So I have to, there's disclosures I have to make.
You have to.
And I live down the street from a a big high school.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
it's obvious it's there if you're buying it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious there's nothing behind my house,
Right.
okay? But it's important to have those inspections. So I know my stepdaughter a couple of years ago bought a house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in a fire area,
Fire hazard.
fire hazard area.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to have the fire department come out and
That's a little extreme, but yes, they do. The lender may want to make sure they invest your home
yeah.
with all safety protected. Sorry, I'm a little stretchy floor.
Okay, you're getting, please. So it's important you know what you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have, and I know my stepdaughter and her family bought the what is it, like American Protection?
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes. That's another home warranty that usually in a regular transaction that as a buyer we will always request the seller to pay for it, and it's a 1-year warranty. Anything, not really anything. They have an item on the sheet that letting you know what's being covered but are not. You can buy additional coverage if you wish to. It's very cheap, like super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I will always recommend to buy it.
Okay, it's real important. I remember when I bought my house 30 years ago, all of a sudden I was taking a shower and all the water
Oh, no.
backed up and it was all over the floor. But the house was empty for about 3 or 4 months. Okay, so that, and I used that Home American warranty that
Yes.
came out, and the toilet wasn't
Oh,
connected to the sewer.
what?
It was crazy.
That's
Okay?
a crazy
It
story.
was very crazy. So I have a friend who was a fireman, and I
Okay.
called him up, and he said, the toilet's not connected to the sewer line.
Was it a brand new home?
No, it was the house I live in now.
Oh, okay, but did you buy a brand new back
No,
then?
it was an
Okay,
old house
alright,
that was
okay.
empty for several months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing that empty homes. So when I have my, international client purchasing their vacation home here, or a second home, or homes that they only live a couple months out of the year, I always recommend them to either lease it out or have somebody to make sure to take care of it. Just like car,
Yeah.
if you don't turn on the engine and leave it parked
Mhm.
for a period of time, your car is going to be dead when you come back.
Yeah.
So same thing with a house.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have anything else to add? We covered a lot.
We did. Great questions,
And
actually.
one of the things I want to bring up, if you own property,
Mhm.
okay? And I know I had a guest on a couple of weeks ago who does wills and trusts.
Oh yeah, it's so important.
That property needs to be put into a will and trust. And it doesn't
Yes.
matter if you're a senior or you're a young family just starting out.
Oh, totally. You never know what's going to happen. And I'm not an attorney, but I literally just had my trust done
Yeah.
last November.
Okay.
And I really do have a peace of mind right now. If
Mhm.
anything happened to me, and I know everything is all set. Otherwise, when you go into probate, that is something you don't want to put your family, people that you love.
Yeah, you don't want
go
to do
through.
that.
Yes.
So if you like to go back and see our show from a couple of weeks ago, we are
Yes.
talking about that.
I also wanted to thank you, Janice. You are somebody I admire, that you have all the energy and putting this podcast, the TV shows, and that whatever you're doing, radio shows, to people that you care or people you haven't met.
Right.
It is an
Yeah.
information that to help you and your family.
So you can find information about Cindy and I, it's listed right here. If you have any comments, Cindy and I would love to have comments, so please comment. If you want to talk to either one of us, the information is right there for you to contact us, because the real estate market is huge industry.
It's definitely huge.
Okay, and it's so important to make sure you have the right realtor. And if you're dealing with an investor, there's more fraud would happen.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
You really don't know who you're dealing with, but do definitely invest and then do your due diligence just
So-
to make sure.
So if you're buying from an investor, one of the reasons why I talked about
Investors,
the conditions,
yes.
okay? You want to find out, was this the owner you're buying from or you're buying from an investor?
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
That's true. Mhm.
All right? Because you want to question about the quality of work that's been done in the home, okay? Because you can go into a home and you can see the love people put into their home.
Yes, totally. The vibe is so different than somebody just fix it up and then sell it. And the other thing is when an investor is selling it, they probably don't put the best quality in there. First. Second, they don't need to disclose anything because it's that we bought it from auction, we bought it from bank, we never lived in the house before, therefore we have nothing to disclose.
Yeah.
So it's your job, your due diligence to find out what's going on. Maybe trying to chase back, transaction only your realtor may have these access to do so.
Right. So, and some realtors are investors too. So just be careful of, be careful with who you choose to represent you. And if you're going and buying without a realtor, be careful who you
choose to work with.
who you choose to work with.
Exactly.
And you may want to make sure you have a realtor to represent you when you buy something too, because you need to be working
Yeah.
with someone that you trust. Now, I did some Googling of Cindy before I came up here, and I found a little video of her, okay?
Which one?
And the little video was like how she made people's lives easier.
Oh.
And they were so complimentary at how
Thank you.
and they said, some of them said she changed their lives, okay?
I'm very honored.
So it's very important. So again, if you have any questions for us, please watch. If you have any questions about health insurance across the board, please give us a call. If you have anything you want to add to the show, we're going to be doing podcasts. So if you want to talk about a real estate transaction that you've been part of, or why you chose to go into a rental property versus buying a property, why you made that decision, we're going to be doing 5 to 10 minute podcasts, okay, about that. Please contact us because I would love to have your input and what we're saying, because your experiences may help someone else.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love the word that the love you have for everybody.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me
Well, thank
on
you.
the show. Thank you.
This is WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. Bye.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory, and you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.